she wrote in her diary as she was allegedly abused by Epstein and his cronies. Before I get to the details, Jake, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so we've heard a lot about the different girls who were abused, but focusing in on one story like this, I think is going to give you a sense of the horrors that happened during this Epstein regime, these years, and think about all the people who helped support this, as Anna tells you this heartbreaking story of what happened to this girl.
So if you, search for it, you can find her actual diary in which she wrote in her diary as this abuse was happening to her. And she names names. She wrote in code. I mean, it was really easy to decipher what she was saying, but I'm going to give you the screenshots from the FBI's interpretation of what she was writing in code, okay? So first, here's what we know about the girl who is now much older, but at the time she was 16. She has autism and Down syndrome. She was born with mosaic Down syndrome, which is apparently a rare condition which gave her some of the features of typical Down syndrome, but did not affect her physical appearance at all. In fact, in the diary, she actually writes about her autism. We'll get to that in just a second. She talks a little bit about how she doesn't like that people are always like making fun of Spirit Airlines, because Spirit happens to be the only airline company that's made accommodations for autistic people.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just, evil exists, man. It just does, and I want to do something about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they liked her because they thought she was easier to take advantage of because of her condition. And then apparently she was really beautiful, and they kept talking about her beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes, and how she was like a porcelain doll. And so in the way that they targeted people they thought were easier to take advantage of is extra sickening.
Yep.
And wait till you get to what one of the most top finance people in the world might have done to her, which is just an extra layer.
So in her diary, she writes about getting impregnated, and in some of those instances, forced to have an abortion. In other instances, she did give birth. If we lived in an actual democracy in a country that cared about justice, we would find out what happened to those children, right? But we have no idea. Now, let's get to what she wrote in her diary. Again, this was written down by the FBI from her diary, interpretations from her diary. She says, a couple of months and 2 pink lines with a hold on being with others until after it was positive. So obviously she's talking about a pregnancy test there. I want to die. Why didn't she protect me? I'm assuming she's talking about Ghislaine Maxwell there, because she makes references to Ghislaine throughout her diary.
Hey guys, just real quick, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We are breaking down all the current events right now, what's going on, and we're keeping the Epstein files relevant. Donald Trump may have started a war to avoid talking about the Epstein files. Or who knows what's going on in his crazy mind to start a war. Anyway, I know it's Sunday. People want to have a family day. It's family day for me usually, but I'm just doing this quick live to talk more about the Epstein files. $10, thank you. Hi, Christina. Shout out Christina, Marisol. Shout out to you. Thanks for watching. Well, let's get into it. We're not letting this Epstein files thing go. Hi, happy St. Patrick's Day. God bless you. I didn't even know it was St. Patrick's Day, but I am 1/4 Irish. $100,000. What denomination are you? Denomination, you're religious? I was raised Catholic. I'm not really a practicing person though, but I am baptizing my daughter as Catholic, so 67, I know, is that still a thing, 67? If you're new guys, go ahead and subscribe. let me know, comment what you think about the Epstein files and Donald Trump's involvement. Give me a yes or a no if you think Donald Trump was 100% involved in what went on with Epstein, or a no if you think he's, like he says, totally exonerated. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to live stream more. Never give up, they say. Keep up with the live stream. I'm trying to live stream more because it seems like what people are most interested in is live streams. It's a lot, you know, trying to keep a household together and find time to live stream and make videos. It takes a lot of time. If you guys want to help out the channel, when you buy your next Samsung phone, and I do all my videos on Samsung phone, use my link. You don't have to. If you really want to help out the channel, subscribe, comment, hit notifications. Trump redacted himself 38,000 times at least. Yeah. I mean, he's mentioned 38,000 times. I think he redacted himself more than that. And more than just redaction, they just didn't release the files. And I think this just came out. If you look, you know, Congress forced them to admit that they didn't release all the files that involved Donald Trump. And I think they will be released eventually. I mean, basically Trump's back's against the wall because he knows he's guilty, so that's why he started the war in Iran, one of the reasons. Another reason is that Israel has dirt on him through the Epstein files and through Epstein, you know, because Epstein worked for Israel, basically. Random farm vids. No, I'm not in the Epstein files, but, you know, I'm not a pedophile like those guys. I have a fiance and a young baby, and I only do relationships. I don't do prostitutes like Trump and Epstein love. Becoming president. Who's becoming president? Let's get back to the video here. Thank you guys for watching again. Please subscribe.
And
I'm only a few away from 3,000
you know, sometimes
subscribers.
she protects her, sometimes she doesn't. As long as I'm wearing what you want, there is no respect for me as a human. I am nothing but your
If
property.
you guys didn't see the beginning of this is in the diary of a 13-year-old girl at the time who Trump and Epstein raped. She had Down syndrome, but she was beautiful, you know, and there was no outward signs of Down syndrome, so they thought that raping her, they could get away with it because, you know, she has Down syndrome. If you don't know what that is, look it up, but it's, you know, basically something you're born with, which makes you, you know, not as intelligent in some areas as others.
Property and incubator. You only trust me when I'm under your complete control. I will never trust another man ever. I am the only one who provides and sacrifices everything. I give and give out of terror, and you take all of me. You need me to continue keeping us all connected. Okay, so there she is mentioning that she's like an incubator. She continues, my heart belonged to her. She was so very beautiful. She was perfect. I can't bring myself to write what happened. I am beyond broken. She's talking about a baby here. Okay? I only got 10 to 15 minutes to hold and feed her before they took her. She is mine. I want her back. Distraught.
So guys, this is the story of one person. Never went to a court of law. We don't know, especially as you get names later in the story. You know, we've got to find a way to, as you know, as we're all distraught, not to jump to complete conclusions, right? But we also don't have any reason to doubt this particular story. There are some other stories that seem outlandish. You don't know where it came from, but this is a direct Epstein victim, and so it is compelling. At the same time, we're not reaching any conclusions because that is an incredibly strange story about taking the baby away. I have no idea what that means, and God, I would love to get it into a court of law. God, I would love to have some sort of justice. By the way, in either direction, if you're accused of any of this, this is some of the worst things you could possibly be accused of. I know I don't want to clear my name. So are we ever going to get into a court of law and find justice in either direction?
No, the country's run by pedophiles. Anyway, let me continue. She detailed one of her abortions in her diary. She wrote, close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes, don't speak. She doesn't talk. I can't stop shaking and it's been a week. A decision was made,
Hi,
but I can't tell Jeffrey. These
Thanks
things
for
happen.
watching.
Why didn't I
Subscribe.
close my eyes fast enough? The doctor was different again, I think from Israel. He had kind eyes, but didn't speak directly to me. This was different. She continues, a shot and those rod-like things had a hook and so much pain. Ghislaine said to push all the pain away. I don't understand. Blood and water all over the bed. And she was right. Like a feeling when your tummy hurts and you have to push. She said to close my eyes and put her hands over my eyes, but I didn't close them because of these tiny cries. I'm so lost. I saw between her fingers this tiny head and body in the doctor's hands. It reached its tiny arm up and had a tiny foot. I closed my eyes and no more. In her diary, there are multiple examples of her begging for help, begging for someone to find her, begging for someone to save her. I'll give you one example. Please release me from this torture and hell.
Yeah. So it's interesting that so far, not a lot of coverage of some of these harrowing stories within the files. I get some of it, which is, hey, listen, it's hard to verify, so what do we do with this thing? But everybody's already reading these, and it's so what's happened is there's an interesting situation now where a lot.
Hello, Natasha. Just wanted to acknowledge you said hi and go ahead and subscribe.
People online know this, but none of the shows are covering it. So, and none of the legacy media is covering it. So there's two different worlds. People who understand some of the horrors that happen, and others who are kind of clueless about who did it, why they did it, what did they do, how bad was it. So our job is to bring this to you and give you the context of, hey, it's, without going to court of law, impossible to know if it's exactly right or not. By the way, the overall
Thank you,
account
Natasha.
could be right, but details could be wrong, right? So I tell you that again, before we give you some names here that she mentioned, and then so take it always something that isn't proven in court with some grain of salt, your decision on how you choose to deal with this information. But our job is to present that information to you and not to hide it from you.
So she does name names in her diary. We'll begin with someone who allegedly committed suicide in prison, Jean-Luc Brunel. He was one of the people who was supplying girls to Epstein. She writes in her diary, Jean-Luc were being sent back, punishment for trying to run. Why can no one help me? Ghislaine is gone. I am so lost and my heart is broken. Is this my destiny?
So one quick thing about Jean-Luc Brunel. So I didn't know much about him until recently. So he's a guy who's in the modeling business, and then they get involved in Epstein's assembly line of young underage girls who get funneled to powerful people, yes, including Donald Trump, but including many others that you're seeing in these. So in fact, I think that the press does an interesting job of almost diverting your attention by just talking about the famous people and not about who organized this. I mean, look at the level of detail here. This is a very organized process. If you believe the story, she gets shuttled around between different people. You're going to see more of that in a second. And there's an organization here, right? And then when I found out that Jean-Luc Brunel died in prison,
Committed suicide
in prison, I was like, oh. And then as you were looking through the files, there's another woman who said she was part of it and that they were going to kill her, and then she dies right afterwards. And so there's a lot of suicides around this story, and I now don't believe any of them were suicides. And
I
so
agree, yeah.
you can say, how dare you? The government has already ordained that.
Well,
you must bow to the government. The same government that was hiding all this?
Yeah, the government has
No.
lost credibility.
Yeah,
Okay.
the government has zero credibility.
And
It
so
doesn't
have-
matter who's in charge. Biden, Trump, Democrats, or Republicans, they all have zero credibility.
So let's move on to the financier, who was also mentioned in her diary. And the financier I'm referring to is investment banker Leon Black. So this next graphic will show you what I mean when I say that she writes in code. It's not really code. So let's take a look at the next graphic, graphic 7. It's another poem that she titled Stopped Dead. And right next to the title of the poem, you'll see the name Leon Black. That's the way that she would write in code, right? Instead of writing from the left side to the right, she would like write words up and down like that. Okay, so she mentions Leon Black there, but that was the only time she mentions Leon Black. Let's go to the next one. So she met Black in New York City in 2000, and he was introduced to her as Epstein's special friend. So this is directly from her diary entry about this, and decoded, it says the following. Even though Ghislaine said it was best to take me home because Mr. Black is so important for some reason, my health, this is going to be hell to pay, or there is going to be hell to pay. I ruined their trio, and I am dramatic. When that fat F bit me, he threw me on the floor and got blood all over Jeffrey's carpet, and I am the issue? Who the F bites someone? Sick. No one is that important, and Leon can go F himself. I hate New York. So there had been some reporting about this a few years ago, actually. So in 2023, I came across this Newsweek piece about allegations made against Leon Black. And I'm going to read you the excerpts. Black retired from his investment firm Apollo in July 2021 after a review found he paid Epstein $158 million for financial advice between 2012 and 2017 after the pedophile's criminal conviction. Interesting. So as I read that piece, it did make mention of one of Epstein's victims accusing Leon Black of biting her in her private area to the point where she bled.
Yeah, so there's even more harrowing stuff in there about the nature of that particular rape, about how she was expecting that he was going to be like Epstein, and Epstein gets massages and then he proceeds to sex, etc., and is apparently not usually violent. Whereas Leon Black slammed her on the massage table, according to her, so hard that it knocked the wind out of her, and then started ripping her clothes off, bit her, and she started screaming, and he would constantly cover her mouth. And so now, guys, in terms of how do you judge this one, first of all, everyone makes their own judgment call about things that haven't been proven in court. But $158 million. Well, he says it was for financial advice. Wait a minute, Leon Black is one of the top financiers in the world. If you need financial advice and you need to pay $158 million for it, no one would ever hire you again.
That wasn't for financial advice.
There's no way in the world that one financial guru will ask anyone else, or let alone Epstein, for financial advice and pays them $158 million for it? No. So you have a good sense there. And by the way, Leon Black is, in retreat over this, and he quit Apollo over that.
He should be hanged for this.
If it's true.
Prosecuted? Okay, we still haven't, a justice system, but he should be investigated, he should be prosecuted, and if convicted, let's bring public hangings. By the way, I don't know if people know yet, but let me be abundantly clear. I have changed my stance on the death penalty. I think in some cases, the death penalty makes sense. This is a perfect example, and it should be public, should be on the town square, hanged in front of the public. That's what I want.
If it's true.
If it's true.
If it's true, and then, you can argue about whether that's the right form of justice. But I would love any kind of justice, especially given the last year.
Watch the pig squeal. Anyway, final thing that I'll mention here is, the Epstein files that were just released by the DOJ did a terrible job in redacting the names of the victims who wanted their names redacted. They were sure their names would be redacted, but they weren't. And so what I found really fascinating was that while the victims weren't protected, the predators seemed to have been protected, including this person who sent an email to Jeffrey Epstein We don't know who it is. We don't even have their name. They just simply wrote, I am in China. I will be in the US second week of May. To which Jeffrey Epstein responded, where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video. I think the public deserves to know who sent Jeffrey Epstein a torture video, and more importantly, what happened to that person? Where is that person today? Was that person ever investigated?
Okay, and where's the video? Because we know.
Actually, I think that torture video was that United Arab Emirates shipping guru guy. I think they found out, but maybe these guys know more than me. I don't know.
There were video.
By the way, guys, this is called TYT, as you can see right in front of you. Excuse me. Alternative news, internet news. If you're still watching CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, you need to get with the program and start watching independent news outlets that aren't controlled by the billionaires, like this one, Breaking Points. You know, there's a few others that tell you the straight up truth, I believe, and that's where I get most of my news. I do watch CNN, MSNBC, and Fox to hear what they are talking about, but I don't believe, 95% of what they're saying, and they leave out they lie by omission. They leave out the important points of stories that implicate billionaires and corporations because they are owned by billionaires and corporations.
We know that there was cameras in every room, including the massage rooms. And now our government tells us, oh no, golly gee, we can't find any of the videos. And then we have legacy media doing nonsensical stories about, oh, we don't know if there were video. Yeah, I mean, sure, every room had a camera, but we don't know that they taped anything. Oh, come on. Come on, please. So now people are starting to have a little bit of despair here and significant anger. Because they're saying, well, okay, our government obviously doesn't work for us because they do all of this for decades, and they covered it all up. And it didn't matter who you voted for, they all covered it up. So I don't want to hear any crap about Democrat or Republican on this. All of them are guilty.
That's right.
Everyone that was ever in the executive branch that had any information about this, you all covered it up, and it's super obvious why you covered it up, because it involves intelligence agencies. But now you turn to the national media, and they're like, intelligence agencies? No, the only country being mentioned is Russia. Are you kidding me? If you read the files, it is nonstop. Israel, Israel, Israel. Even in this story, randomly, an Israeli doctor shows up. Not a Russian one, not a Bulgarian one, not a Thai one. It's constantly Israel. But I don't know, the reason I bring that up here is I don't know that's why the media is like shush,
Yes.
shush,
That is
shush,
why. That is why.
right?
That is why.
But look at these atrocities.
That is why.
So the government says, under no condition will we serve the American people. We will serve the monsters who did this. And then our media comes in and goes, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, whatever, shiny objects, squirrels. Okay, go get all the sons of bitches. I don't mind that at all. But you're not talking about who organized this. It is obviously a giant organization. They send women all across the globe to some of the most powerful people on earth. And the mainstream media wants us to believe that there was no organization. It was just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell just walking around. And they never mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell's connections to Israeli intelligence. They never mentioned Epstein's deep connections. Israeli spies lived in his home. And shush, shush. No, we're not going to shush. This is stuff made of like horror. These are horror stories. And so how horrible are the people in charge that they know this happened and they make sure we never find out about it? And what did they use the blackmail for?
We know.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings.
Okay, guys, so like I said, that's TYT. Go ahead and give them a look on YouTube. The Young Turks, it's called. Started by that guy, Cenk Uygur, like 20 years ago. They've been doing news. Anyway, guys, go ahead and tell me what you think about the government covering up all this Epstein stuff for decades for the billionaire class, the Epstein class, they're calling it now. We're calling it now. The Epstein class controls the world. The Illuminati, the Rothschilds, They're all the same thing. They're the billionaires. They control the world. And it all comes down to money and power. Most of these rapes and child rapes and stuff were used to control Donald Trump. You know, he had the desire to rape little girls, but Epstein and the Israelis and the Illuminati and the Rothschilds, they were the ones that gave him the opportunities and filmed him. And that may well be right now why we're in a war with Iran, because they have videos of Donald Trump raping little girls. I mean, you see by that girl's diary right there. She wrote that diary when she was 16. The stuff happened to her when she was 13. Donald Trump punched her in the face for biting his dick. I mean, you could choose not to believe that because it wasn't proven in a court of law. But this girl did four interviews with the FBI, and the investigation still was not done. The FBI does not interview somebody 4 times who's pulling a prank or talking bullshit. They interviewed her 4 times, and then they covered it up, the FBI, because, you know, they're part of the deep state, the government. You know, the swamp and the deep state that Trump was going to get rid of, he is very much part of. Let's see what else is going on in the news today. Go to my favorite.
Because he knows his own strength.
X here. Epstein files. We are here to expose everyone. Official account for the Epstein files, and yeah, I'll give them a follow.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down with me. Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all of you down.
I don't know. You think that's real or no? I think it probably is. Sounds like Trump. Don't stop talking about the Epstein files until arrests are made. This level of evil has never been seen before. Now imagine the ones not recorded, the kids that went missing to never be seen again. He's waterboarding that kid. This is the evil that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and Leon Black, Les Wexman, they're all part of, all guilty of, all implicated of. Implicated in, sorry. Look at this motherfucker. Some very painful pictures are being seen from the Epstein files where innocent little children are being tortured very brutally. This is the man, 50% of the country. This is supported by the man 50% of the country voted for as president. From the Epstein files. Anybody who doesn't believe that Elon Musk could be a pedophile, I mean, is there a weirder dude on the planet? All these guys, mind you, are Nepo babies. They were all born rich, all born with rich parents, all grew up thinking they could do whatever they wanted to do. Even Epstein, don't believe the hype. He wasn't born and raised poor. The Epstein name goes way back, all the way to involvement with the Rothschilds and the Illuminati. He had money to start with. First time I was sold for shit, I was 11. For sex.
The first time I was raped, I was 6. The first time I was sold, I was 11. After that first experience of being sold,
If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, hit the notifications button, the bell, so you know when I drop a new video and when I'm going live again.
He kind of gave me a hug and he said, "You're going to make me so much money." And I didn't know what that meant. I just kind of went back over to my grandparents' house. And then he invited me over, and his friend essentially gang raped me for probably an hour. And there's video out there somewhere of me and being raped. And I don't know how that's been cut and edited to look and appear a certain way. The thing that went through my mind was, are people going to see this? Is my family going to see this? And the people I care about the most, it always felt like a possibility in the back of my mind. Anytime I was over at that guy's house being raped, I could literally look out the window and see my grandmother's house and how close I was to being safe, and would always hope that somebody would come looking for me. And they just never did, because I don't think anyone fathoms something like that happening literally right next door or within your own family. A customer was brought into the room, I would be shown pornography, and being that young, I think it translated for me as an overall thing, as a woman, this is what men expect from you, this is what people want from you. That went on for about 2 or 3 years, and just kind of ended because I hit puberty. And it was actually, the last summer of it happening was the most violent, because a lot of the men were a pedophile clientele. It was a whole nother level to experience rejection from people that were abusing me.
Give Trump a pass if you want, but I don't know how you can. These people are the worst people in the world. They're the billionaires, millionaires, people who think they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And they have been for more than decades, hundreds of years. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to say enough is enough and stop voting for people like Donald Trump into office so he could protect these people and himself? I don't know. Comment below what you think. Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore the stupid comments, but this is serious stuff, guys. You want to joke around about it because you're a cuck for Trump, that's fine. By the way, this is X I'm looking at. This is a Trump-friendly platform. It's not, Did you see that Bill Clinton interview? He looked super old and just he has Parkinson's or something, and I mean, he's pretty much out of it.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. First, we've got population.
Also, I've been thinking a lot about the question that you asked Bill Gates. This is a Epstein email. How do we get rid of poor people as a whole? And I have an answer. I have an answer / comment regarding that for you. When can I call you today to discuss this? How can we get rid of poor people? Just remember that. If you're not a millionaire or billionaire, you're a poor person to them. That is not fake. Whoever's saying it's fake. I know you're a Trump cuck, a cult member. Some of it is fake, but this is real right here. Trump molested little girls, and you can cover for him all you want, but it's coming out. This is not fake either. You could be a Trump cuck all you want. That's all you are. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar, which is a type of sword, but left no scarring on the yacht. He witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from these intestines. Sorry, it's really small. He was also raped by George Bush I. That's insane. That's out of the Epstein files though, but it's not proven. So guys, this is the insanity in the world we live in today, and how the billionaire class, the Epstein class, treats everybody, the other 99%. And what do? We vote for them for president. We vote for them for Congress people, or we vote for their henchmen for Congress. And they finance everything. All the elections, since the bought and paid for Supreme Court, which we currently live under the thumb of, let donations go just completely insane in the 2010 Citizens United Declaration, or Citizens United ruling, that corporations are, money is a First Amendment freedom of speech. You know, money is speech is basically what the court said. Corporations can give unlimited donations through PACs. You know, that's why Trump has so many PACs. All that money is untraceable. You know, we don't, and they've pretty much dismembered the, you know, ethics guys, the ethics people, the Department of Ethics, or, you know, what is it? Voter integrity or election integrity. Trump has done one thing he is good at is dismembering regulations, you know, and regulators. And he got rid of all those. So right now, you know, he's just taking money through his crypto, you know, and you know, all politicians are doing this basically, except for maybe Bernie Sanders and a couple others. But they're taking unlimited money from all these billionaires. And, you know, what does that do? If a billionaire gives you $1 million, are you going to vote against their tax break and vote for health care for poor people? No, you're going to vote for the billionaire. I mean, 99% of people are. There's, like I said, there's the Bernie Sanders and people who aren't, but 99% of people are gonna. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you want to help out the channel, when you order your next Samsung phone, order it from my Samsung phone link on here, or if you need a new phone plan, go to my Mint Mobile link and get yourself and I only endorse things that I use. I film all this on my Samsung S20, my mobile plan, and yeah, I still have an S20 because I don't feel like phones have gotten that much better where I need to upgrade, but I eventually will upgrade it. It'll be another Samsung phone. I've been using Mint Mobile since I Mint SIM in 2017 or 16. I can't remember how long now, but about 10 years. And I pay it once a year prepaid. When I started traveling years and years ago, I realized that other countries prepay for their phone plans. So they can't give you all these extra charges they charge on your credit card at the end of the month. It's cheaper. I prepay my Mint Mobile plan once a year in January, $360 for the whole year, unlimited everything, and it's the best move I ever made. Before that, I had Sprint, T-Mobile. You know, Sprint back in the day used to charge me, because they're broke, because who's broke? Sprint back in the day used to charge me for, you know, like all these extras, you know, these connection fees and stuff like that. At the end of the month, I had a $35 plan. This is going back 10, 15 years. And at the end of the month, it'd be $50, $60, depending on when I went over on my minutes or whatever. But Mint Mobile, prepaid, $15 a month. I think I'm paying $20 a month now because I have like the plan that's, you know, unlimited data, because you kind of need that these days. But pay it once a year, and then I'm done for the year. So if you want to help out the channel, you can use the link, switch to Mint Mobile, get out of those postpaid plans where they coax you into buying a phone. You know, they give you a free phone when really it costs you $1,500 or whatever. Buy your phone, buy a Samsung phone or whatever phone outright. Put your own SIM card in there, prepay, and save yourself a ton of money. Especially you older folks out there, I know you're not as savvy with the technology, but this is the way to save money on your phone plan, and you don't have to worry about crazy bills coming in at the end of the month. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Subscribe, like, share, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time on the next live. I'm taking a couple days off to the next 2 days. I'll be on the road doing stuff with the family, but I'll be back again after that. So look for my live. Have a good one.